Hello and welcome to St Columba's Church for today's collective worship, where we're going to be looking at our parish family. And a simple way to say who is part of the parish family would be to say that everybody who lives in the parish is part of that family. But we have, so that would be our wider family connections, but we also have the more local family connections, people who come to church, if you like. They're our sort of immediate parish family. So we have the parish clergy, that's myself, Father Adrian and Father Stephen. We can often be found in and around the parish doing various jobs, carrying out various jobs. I do a lot of delivering of food with Lisa in and around the parish, and a lot of baptism preparations and funeral preparations and taking funerals. As well as I offer Mass 4 times a week. At the minute it's all streamed on Facebook and on YouTube, but there's normally a congregation here 4 times a week when we offer the Mass. When I was thinking about the people in the parish that I would talk to you about, I suddenly realised it's a very dangerous list to write. I might miss somebody off it, so don't tell anybody in case I've missed anybody off. I don't want them getting upset. And if anybody finds out and I've got them in an order that they would have thought that they took preference over a different job, that's just tough as well. There's no particular order of importance. All these different jobs and roles that people have in the church family all go to help make the church run smoothly. And part of the people that help with that are the church wardens. They are legally responsible for the upkeep and the running of the buildings, although we work very closely together with them and support them in the work that they do. Then we have the sacristans, who take care of the sacristy, set up for Mass, keep things clean in the sacristy, make sure the candles haven't run out, and there's matches to light things, all that, make sure we've got the sacristy supplies, a lot of bread and wine ready so we can offer the Mass. Pretty much without the sacristans, we'd have to do it all ourselves, obviously, but it's not that we don't value the work that they do, because it means that we've got time to do other things. I don't necessarily have to be in church the hour before normally, because it's ready by the sacristan. Then we have the church organist, again an important role to play in church, enriching the masses and the services we do with music. It really is uplifting sometimes to hear the church organ being played, even played quietly, can be quite a stirring experience. We then have what we call our parochial church council. So you've got the General Synod, the Diocesan Synod, the Deanery Synod, which is our local area, and then we've got our parish parochial church council. And this is made up of various people who have stood for election to be on there. So we have the church wardens on there, we have the treasurer, we have a few treasurers in our parish. Each church has its own treasurer, and the PCC has a treasurer as well. And they just help with the counting of the money and the banking of the money, and making sure that the bills get paid on time, and all that kind of thing, and updating us on how the money situation is looking. Then we have the PCC secretary, who takes in the minutes of all the meetings, make sure that they're accurate, and when we have the next meeting, they make sure that we have the minutes available on hand, and they do all the sort of the admin of the parish. Then we have various officers as well within the PCC, the Parochial Church Council. The safeguarding officer, who makes sure that everyone who holds one of the church officers has done their safeguarding training, and everyone's up to date with that, and they keep on top of the legislation that keeps coming through. Then we have what we call in church the electoral roll, and to if you want to vote at the annual meeting, then you have to be on the electoral roll to be able to do that. So we have someone who looks after that, who removes people who need removing, and add people who needs adding. And that role is really important because it's something that we have access to. So if we want to, particularly now with the COVID restrictions, if you want to write to people who aren't, especially on email, which is the first point of call these days, we have their addresses and contact details. Another role in our church family would be the gift aid secretary. The Chancellor very nicely gives us money back from donations that taxpayers make. We get some money back from them, so the gift aid is quite an important role because it gets us a little bit extra money. And then we get the people who keep the churches clean. And although we've no flowers going off at the minute, who do the flower arranging. This church isn't too bad, but some of the big old churches need a lot of cleaning. There's a lot of dust generated in them just from the fact that they're big and they're old, and damp in places, so you need to keep on top of the cleaning. So the people who do the cleaning and the flower arranging are just as important as anybody else. And all of these jobs are all voluntary, except Father Stevens and I. We get paid. But all of those jobs are voluntary. No one gets paid for doing them. And it's always difficult to find people who want to do some of the jobs. So we're always grateful for people that want to do them, because some of them can be quite demanding on time and resources. And we're always happy when people step forward. We also need people to read during the Mass. At the minute it's all me because of the COVID restrictions, but usually people come, when they come to church, they read. But you don't have to have a job to come to church. Everyone who has a job has volunteered to do that job. But some people like to come to church just to be just to feel part of that church family. Everyone comes to worship God and be part of that God's family together, and to meet together to worship God. And some people just want to do that, and we've got room for everybody. Some people just want to come, say the prayers, receive the sacrament, and then go. Some people like to have a natter and a cup of coffee after Mass. But we've got room for all people, really, that want to come and worship God with us. And if they want a job, that's fine. We can probably find somebody a job to do. If they don't, then that's fine as well. There should never be any pressure on people to take up a job or a role in church. And then we have the people who come and visit us. Sometimes some of the schools, I know St. Joseph's and Ingersoll, I'm looking that way because I'm at St. Columba's, have visited the church here at Ingersoll a few times, and a few have visited St. John's as well in Staveley. And so it's always nice to welcome people in. It's been a sadness this year, or last year, that we couldn't do any of our end-of-term things in the summer. We couldn't do any of our Christmas nativities and Christingles. And so we can't wait, really, to welcome people back into church this year. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that by Easter. If not, hopefully by Christmas, we'll be able to welcome people back in. But also people who are part of our church family are the people that visit us for coffee mornings, whether they come to bingo or to any of the other clubs that meet in church. They might not be coming primarily to worship God, but they are coming into a church. And therefore, there is a relationship with God happening just by being in here. Even though people might not be consciously aware of it, it is happening, and we hope that God is moving in their lives just by coming and sharing time with us as part of our family. Well, I hope that gives you a little overview of our parish and church family. Again, if there's any questions, get them written down and emailed across to me, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you, and God bless.